Hi everyone, Leon here. Welcome back to my channel where I share key learning from books to help you achieve more in less time. So let's dive right into the book of the week. This book is Moonwalking with Einstein by Joshua Foer. Take a look at these three cards, then imagine moonwalking with Einstein. Which is easier to remember? I believe the image of moonwalking with Einstein is easier to remember, right? And this is just one of the methods that Joshua used to remember. And this is just what this whole book is about. The art and science of remembering everything. In this book, Joshua Foer brings us through his journey as a journalist with average memory to becoming the champion of the USA Memory Championship. I love how he integrates the history of memory as well as how our memory works and some of the memory techniques he has learned in his journey and shares it with us. The key learning I've got from this book is that our memory is not fixed. And we have this potential in us to become extraordinary in our memory, if only we train it with the right techniques. Remember that we were young, we were told by our teachers, our parents, and everybody else to remember this and remember that. But I believe we weren't told how to remember, right? This book tells us that a photographic memory is a myth, and it takes time and effort to train our mind to remember things faster and better. This can be done through techniques that could be learned by anyone. So here are some techniques that you could learn to train your mind, or you could teach your children to learn to train theirs as well. The first one is chunking. This is a way to decrease the number of items you have to remember by increasing the size of each item. For example, this 12-digit string of number you see can be chunked into 4 chunks of 3-digit string, which should make it easier to remember, or into 2 chunks, which are the dates of September 11 attack and Singapore's National Day respectively. I believe this will be easier to remember, isn't it? The next technique is association. Different people can relate to different things differently, and one thing is for sure is that there is a higher chance for people to retain the information that they can relate to or are more familiar with. Therefore, one way to remember better is to take the things or information that you want to remember and associate them with things you are familiar with. For example, if you are a competitive runner and you wish to remember like a string of digits or numbers, one possible way is to associate it with the significant timings of running that you have encountered. For example, the best and worst timing of your area, of yourself, your competitors, and so on, right? The better you are at associating with what you're familiar with, the better or higher the retention in your memory. This next technique is one of my favorites. It's called the memory palace or the Loxai method. The basic principle is to make use of a familiar place to store the information you want to remember at different locations of the place. The images that we use must be as funny, as lewd, and as bizarre as possible. And use things that you're more familiar with or you can associate better with, and animate them as far as possible, because animating them will likely make it retain in your memory for a longer period of time. Let's do an example together. Here is a list of 10 things I want to buy. See how many you can remember in the next 10 seconds. You can pause this video and come back after 10 seconds. Now, let's use this memory palace to remember them in sequence and then backwards. I'll be using my place as an example, so follow me through and see how much you can remember, okay? So, first, I walk to the front of my door and I saw this giant garlic the size of a basketball bouncing up and down, welcoming me home. I said, wow. So, I walk straight, enter my door, and right in front of me is Megan Fox wearing nothing but cheese. Wow. And I turned to my left to go into my hall. So when I turned to my left, there was a huge summon standing on his tail, offering to take my keys. So I passed the keys to the summon and walked on to my hall. Inside my hall, I see to the left is a giant pineapple sitting on my sofa, drinking green tea, watching TV. I continued to walk into my dining room. In my dining room, I saw two human-sized cones having a heated argument. They are so heated up that they are popping corns all over. So I avoided the popcorns and walked into my kitchen. As I reached over to my left for the kettle for a drink of water, I saw a smelly socks covering the kettle mouth. There goes my drink. And so I proceeded to the toilet. And when I go to the toilet, I saw a floating gloves telling me that it's out of bounds. What? So I turned back. U-turn, turn back, suddenly a toilet roll dropped down in front of me, rolling itself out, forming a trail into my bedroom. So I followed this toilet paper trail and then reached my bedroom to see a floating or magic yoga mat with Aladdin and Jasmine doing yoga on it. So these are the 10 things. Can you remember it? All 10 things are placed at strategic locations I am familiar with. All I need to do is walk myself through these places to retrieve them. And if I can do a play, I can do a replay to do them backwards. Last but not least is Person, Action, Object, or PAO. This is a system whereby every 2-digit number from 00 to 99 is represented by an image of a person acting or taking action on an object. So, for example, 37 could be Michael Jackson moonwalking on a bridge. Michael Jackson is the person, moonwalking is the action, and bridge is the object. Another number, 68, could mean Iron Man shooting missiles. And 19 could be Optimus Prime transforming into a truck. To take this a bit further, any 6-digit number, let's take the 6 we have mentioned earlier. For example, 376819. This can be transformed into a single image by combining the person from the first, the action from the second, and the object from the third. In this case, it's Michael Jackson shooting a truck. If the number is 193768, it becomes Optimus Prime moonwalking on missiles. The challenging part is to first memorize all these images from 00 to 99. These are the memory techniques I learned in the book Moonwalking with Einstein. The more you use these techniques, the more you'll realize that it is less to do with memorizing, but rather to do more with your creativity. Because it requires you to think or associate certain things, chunking them together, putting in your emotions, and creating visuals that are exaggerating and bizarre so you can commit to your memory much easier. I hope these techniques can help you in one way or another. If you like this summary, hit the subscribe button and turn on your notification bell to be notified of my weekly learnings. And to get your free copy of the one-page PDF summary, click the link in the description below. Thank you for watching, wish you well, and see you in the next video.